Hey, Bikeaholics, Zero 3D has a wide variety of innovative products for your Harley-Davidson motorcycle. Affordable chrome lighting and comfort products. These guys ride and support riders just like you guys out there. Head over to lawabidingbiker.com/Ciro, CIRO, and check them out. That's right. We are a Ciro distributor right out of the Law Abiding Biker store now. lawabidingbiker.com/store. We will hook you up with some cool Ciro products. Email from Ryan Riley of Island Park, New York. Thanks for sending an email. How did he do that? lawabidingbiker.com/contact, and he hit us up on our contact form. He says, hey, Ryan, I hear on the podcast about how you guys ride and how you are in the police motorcycle competition. And I've always been interested in it, but I don't know where to go to learn or how to practice myself. I might be taking the U.S. Capitol Police test, and so I could get the training there, but that could be years, and I really want to learn now. Is there anywhere that you know of that I can get training? All the schools near here are basic riding skills. Thank you for any info. My quick response, and we may talk about it a little bit more in this episode. We're actually going to talk a lot more about police motors and police motorcycle school and what is that and behind the scenes and all that kind of stuff. We're going to get in depth. Here's my quick response via email to him. My best advice is to find current certified motor officers, and they can take you out and get you up and going. I have done that before, and I've taken other individuals out. That's the best method. I will say that there are retired motors officers around the country in the United States, and I'm sure abroad, that put on schools and charge for it, of course. I don't know if there are any in your neck of the woods, but but you could seek it out, and I would do that via Google searches and asking around. I hope that helps, and best of luck on taking the U.S. Capitol Police test. Just awesome. Mm-hmm.
That is cool.
And Oscar and I will break that down for you guys. All right. Hey, Bikeaholics and listeners alike, the show is still going strong because of a lot of hard work and your support, of course. Thanks to all those loyal listeners and true friends of the show that have supported us or are supporting us. For less than a coffee a month, you can help support us too and put a little fuel in the law-abiding biker gas tank to make sure this show keeps moving on down the road. So, calling all law-abiding bikers, head over to our Patreon page and take action today. You can do so at lawabidingbiker.com/Patreon, Patreon. Oh, did I mention there's benefits too? From all your friends at lawabidingbiker.com, we appreciate each and every one of you. God bless and ride safe. And now, straight from the Law Abiding Biker Media Studio,
out of sunny Yakima, Washington,
we bring you another episode of the
#1 listen to motorcycle podcast.
We're in your head.
We're in your head.
We're in your head.
We're in your head.
Yep, he's sitting there. He's right there, guys.
I forgot about this.
Oscar in the house. Oh, God. Yeah, we have got a great episode for you guys, and I say we just get right into it. Mm-hmm. Bang your head, Oscar. Bang your head. Yeah, welcome back, you freaking bikeaholics. This is the podcast for the motorcycle majority, the big MM, also known as the...
I
99%.
I wasn't
That's right.
paying attention. I'm trying to figure out this.
Clearly.
I can't multitask. We know that I can't multitask. You know that. You've known that for a long time. And then I space off.
Oh, that's right, guys.
Carte blanche.
By listening to this very podcast, you are part of, whether you like it or not, you better like it, but you are part of what we call the biker revolution. Large and in charge of the motorcycle scene more than any time in history. Our voices, we, the community, we are here to be heard. I do have just one question for you guys before we get started. What are you waiting for, bikeaholics? Mount up. Let Oscar and I take you on another wild-ass ride. Ryan Erlacher here, your host of the Law Abiding Biker Podcast and your high-tech redneck.
I was just thinking,
he was sipping coffee now. You're either chatting or you're sipping coffee.
Well, you make me chat, and then I get tired and thirsty.
Yeah. And it is 2:00 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time here in Eastern Washington State, and we are drinking not alcoholic beverages. We're actually coffeeed up. It was a late night last night. We did a live podcast Memorial Day weekend. I don't know when this one will come out, but we're pumping out batch processing 5. And man, we worked into the night, 2 videos. I was so tired, didn't get in bed. I worked on lab stuff till like 3 a.m. in the morning. I slept in a little bit. And so this is my first chance. So I got to get some coffee and get the wheels turning here. Oscar back in the studio. Thank you, buddy, for being here.
Good to be back.
I wanted Oscar specifically for this episode. Man, you guys, we are going to break it down. All about Police Motor School and behind the scenes and what that entails. And there's a reason, and you'll learn why I chose myself. Of course, I guess I'm the host, but I chose Oscar as my co-host for this because he's fresh out of Police Motors School and he has a whole bunch of insight. And I want to talk to him. I kind of saved talking about it with him because I wanted it to do it on the mics. Now, I will tell you that this likely probably be a 2-part episode just because there's so much information, and I know we have the chat going and you guys may have questions. I just don't want to skimp on this episode because we have been asked about it a ton via email requests and voicemails for us to just talk about our regular paid jobs, our LEO full-time jobs. We do this on the side, of course, and so we don't want to skimp on it. So this may be part 1 of 2, and likely part 1 of 2, and you'll know because we'll have to cut it off. But if you have questions in the chat room, we appreciate y'all being there. Super Chat is up and running. Super Chat, what is it? We had some Super Chatters last night right on the YouTube live chat here where we're doing our live stuff, guys. You really got to catch a live if you're listening to this later on podcast. But Super Chat, it's at the bottom. There's a little money sign. You can send a Super Chat. You can donate a certain amount to support what we're doing here, and you get pinned up in the middle, and your whole box gets pinned at the top, and it turns a color so everybody knows that you did a Super Chat. And it's just another way that if you feel like it, that you can support us. And we had some great guys sending us Super Chats last night. It's just a little, like I say, a little money sign. I think it's on desktop and Android. I think we're not finding it on iOS yet. Do you see it at the bottom?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Let me see your phone for a second.
Okay. I'm chatting. I'm actually answering questions for you, which is even better.
No, I like that, bro. I'm just iOS. Yeah, see, it's not here on iOS. On Android, it's in the lower right-hand corner. You can hit the Super Chat. On desktop, it's there. It's like the lower left-hand corner. It's a little money sign, but iOS, they're still, it's in beta. We were just allowed to use Super Chat because of the amount of subscribers we have. YouTube allowed certain creators to do that. So thanks to you guys for all the subscriptions that allows us to test this beta stuff and do that kind of stuff. So with that said, we do have a lot of patrons in the group, and thanks for answering those questions there, Oscar. But we absolutely could not do this without our beloved patrons. I just want to thank Christopher Ray Wood of Elsinore, Missouri. Top tier. Thank you, Joseph Dempsey of Dana Point, California. Top tier. Channing Rankin of Longview, Texas. All top tier, Oscar. How about that? Michael Bromley of Charlotte, Tennessee. Tom Forrest of Holtwood, Pennsylvania. Top tier he is. Chad Adams of Wilkesboro, North Carolina. LawAbidingBiker.com/Patreon. Patreon. That's right. Get involved. Take action. You can pledge a certain amount per piece of content. No risk, because you can put a monthly cap and stay within your family budget. And it is a way to get involved. There are benefits like the awesome private Facebook group, t-shirt, stickers, and for all those top tier guys, access to any of our purchase videos up on request. And we would love to have you in the community in that private Facebook group. It's a way you get to know us a lot better, and we get to know you a lot better in that group. So, Oscar, let's just start part 1 of 2 probably. I'm going to give you a little background of me, and then I want to give a little background of you because we're going to break into our Leo careers a little bit. Of course, we do Law-Abiding Biker Media here, and it's a passion of ours, obviously, or we wouldn't be sitting here at 2 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon on a Memorial Day weekend trying to pump out episodes. So we truly, truly care about that, and it is on the side, though. So I've got basically 21 going on 22 years law enforcement experience. I've done a whole bunch of different positions. I've done different task force, and I've worked undercover for a while. I've done, I was canine for a good portion of my career, drug detection, canine handler. Anyways, I've been training, and I wanted to get in the motors unit with my current agency. I came from another agency, but I've been in the current one about 11 years now. The one prior to that I was with for about 11 years, so that's my 22 years. But I wanted to get in police motors, and so I worked very, very hard for the past 4 years while running lab on the side to get into that unit because they're pretty exclusive units and they're not easy all the time at departments to get into. It's kind of a coveted position. There's a lot of work, but it's something I'm very proud of. So I trained with them for 4 years, every chance I got, and worked with them when I can. In the last couple of years, they sent me through motor school. And so I was already certified. I just wasn't doing it full time. I was still working regular patrol in the patrol division, answering calls. And
is that the super?
That's the super chat.
Okay.
Wow, Eric Showers, God bless you. I bought 2 gray shirts. Awesome, man. Thanks, Eric. He bought 2 gray patron shirts. So thank you for leaving that super chat and donating a couple bucks there, man. Every little bit helps us do what we're doing. And we'll try to shout out any of you that do super chat. So I was just answering regular patrol calls, but they were allowing me to help with parades and things like that on overtime details. But finally, I was selected to do it full-time in a full-time capacity. Something I worked 4 years for, guys. And so it was blood, sweat, and tears to get into the position I'm in, which I hope and I suspect I'm going to be in for a very long time now. And I became, at the end of the year, the full-time motors officer. Again, I had been training and riding with those guys, so now it's just official that I actually don't do regular patrol activities anymore. I'm assigned to our motorcycle unit. What does the motors unit do? Primarily in our agency, and I think most agencies, is we don't handle the regular calls anymore. We aren't going to the domestics, unless, obviously we still do if people are calling for help and, around the corner within reason. But our primary focus and responsibilities are traffic-related law enforcement duties, and that includes answering to collisions. We do get investigator pay because we get all the cases assigned to us, the fatality accidents, this vehicular assaults, vehicular homicides, and then all the hit and run follow-up. And then we're out. You see us stopping cars. That's what we do. Stop cars and take appropriate enforcement actions out there on our public roadways. I do it in a city environment. I'll let Oscar talk a little bit. He's with a county jurisdiction, so he does it in a county environment. But he has a unique story because I'll let him tell you, but they've never actually had a motors unit before. So this is exciting, and I've been working close because our agencies work close together. Oscar is with a different agency than me, but we still work very, very close together. And so it's been kind of exciting and fun, both to work with Oscar in a law-abiding biker setting, but also to consult and go back and forth. And I think that we're going to spend some time training together and riding motorcycles in a law enforcement capacity. So that's kind of cool. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight into me and a little bit of, that's a quick background of me. And I wanted you to have that basis to know where we're coming from. And so Oscar's chatting, and I appreciate it very much.
I'm giving a shout out to one of the fellers because
one of the fellers.
Yeah,
he's giving the shout out to one of the fellers in there. I don't know which the feller is. You can
Sig Tac Ops 19. I was just going to praise him for carrying a real pistol.
Oh yeah, 20 plus with Dallas County. SO working interdiction. That's another thing I did in my career. I worked 8 years criminal, serious highway criminal interdiction. And went to a lot of those clinics and stuff. He's probably familiar with a lot of those clinics that you go to. I got to do a lot of training. That was a fun time in my career. So good for you, man. Oscar, why don't you give you boys need to clean
Yeah, it's sort of dirty. Some of them were making fun of my coffee cup, but I don't care.
Big dogs now?
Terry asked if anyone owned a big dog. I don't think we've had any.
Nope. Are they still around? Big dog choppers? I remember they were big there for a few years. I don't see them anywhere.
They were so expensive and they were pretty basic. They were cool. They're cool.
They were just a Harley.
Well,
weren't they running Harley motors and they were just stretching the frames?
No, I thought they were S&S or RevTech, maybe S&S motors.
Oh, I was thinking of Thunder Mountain. Remember Thunder Mountain for a while?
No.
They were here in the Northwest. They were big too, and they were actually selling them in Harley shops.
But nice.
Anyways, back on track.
Did we get off topic?
No, it's good. That's what the chat's for. Yeah. I have no problem with that. And that's why this is going to go probably a 2-part episode, this police motor. So you heard my background.
Yep.
Let's give yours and we'll roll from there, how you got into motors and, kind of some of your experience. And you don't have to list agency. Everybody knows who we work for, but I just don't say it.
It's on the interweb.
It's on the interweb. Yeah.
Let's see. I have 16 years in. I did a lot of patrol stuff, and then I did some time in detectives.
Defectives.
He
was a defective for a while,
like SVU, and I'll never ever do that again. It was rewarding, but I'll never do it again. And then so I came back out on the road, and then started a standalone traffic unit. We've kind of had traffic units off and on for quite a while, and they've never really, they've kind of dabbled in the standalone traffic unit, and so but it ends up going back to patrol. So finally,
What do you mean the traffic unit, like car traffic unit?
yeah, right. We've had car traffic units before. A lot of agencies have dedicated traffic units and task forces and all this stuff. And so we've had them over the years off and on, but they kind of last for a little bit and then they go back to patrol for manpower and stuff. So now again, we have a standalone traffic unit, and it was awesome. Oh, I guess they're still up and running. They're there.
Yeah, they are big. They put their site, and honestly, they're not a popular motorcycle around these parts.
No,
you
we
don't
don't see
see any of them.
many.
They look nice.
There is one in town. I've seen one.
Have you? Yeah.
That's it.
So their website, bigdogisback.com. So I don't know if they left, but sorry, we don't know a lot about them. You don't see them a lot.
We don't.
They look pretty cool. Looks
do.
like a cool around town bike.
Yes.
I wouldn't be traveling to Canada for a 7-day trip on that, but
At one point they made a touring
Oh, did they?
style. Yeah, because of that. People were complaining, but
because of that. Okay.
yeah, because they weren't. So so it was just a random luck. We had one of our admin talking to one of your admin, and we have two administrators that ride. One of them just got a new bike. The other one rides a lot, like thousands and like he did what did he do? A 5,000 mile trip last summer.
You're
One of our chiefs.
one of your chiefs.
Yeah,
You did-
he rides a lot. And then
That's cool.
And then the other
And what
chief
does he
rides
ride?
too. He's a BMW guy. Both of them have BMWs.
And hold that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Channing Rankin in the chat. Super chat. $10 he just gave us.
Holy
Thank
cow.
you. He says, you're all awesome. In July, I'm getting the FP3 fuel, Vance and Hines Fuel Pack 3 staggered short shots and VO2 intake, and will be purchased them all through the Law Abiding Biker Store. Wow. Doing as
That's
much as I
awesome.
can to support you. Thank you, Channing. Thank you, everybody out there. That's the kind of stuff, the community that I'm talking about. You guys doing that exact kind of stuff, a super chat, buying stuff in our store, patrons. You guys are the reason we can keep doing this. So thank you. So go ahead, Justin. So he's a big rider,
Yeah,
one of
we
your
got two-
chiefs.
both of
So
them.
he's obviously a motorcycle headed
Yep.
individual and 5,000 miles. Where did he go?
They just
Generally.
him and the old lady took a huge trip around the.
Does she ride on the back or?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And our other chief rides as well. He doesn't put on quite the same amount of miles, but he rides quite
Been
a
a
bit.
while since we've ridden with him.
Yeah. And he just got a new BMW, and so they were talking, and the issue of motorcycles came up, and it's something that we had kicked around for quite a while, and then the guys just made a decision to give it a shot.
Right.
So they did, and out of the four of us in the traffic unit, one guy's got a dog, so obviously he wasn't going to be able to do it. Another guy is going to do commercial vehicle stuff. So that left two of us.
Mm-hmm.
And then I already have my endorsements. So that was a no brainer. And the other guy went and got his endorsements. That was a no brainer. So yeah,
But
we had-
never in the history
Never. As
of
far-
your
yep.
agency have they ever had a motorcycle unit, right?
never.
That I can remember.
Never.
Okay, so there's actually 4. This is interesting. See, I don't know a lot of this. So you're actually going to have 4 people in your unit. Just 2 of them are going to be in cars.
Yeah. One guy actually is going to have a Tahoe, but yeah, they'll be in cages.
They'll be in cages.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And then the 2 of you
He'll be on bikes.
will be on bikes.
Yeah.
Okay, dude. So very good. So you're in the traffic unit. You're just waiting to get on
The bike should
the
be
old
done.
bike.
Yep.
And do you
next
think
week.
a lot of the reason you have a motorcycle unit is because admin
Yes.
is motorcycle oriented?
Yep.
They have the brain for it.
And they've been open. All blind cops complain about their admin, but I really give these guys a lot of credit because they have been really open, not only the motors thing, but a lot of new stuff and
Okay.
trying new stuff and stuff that's it's hard in law enforcement. Administrators in a lot of agencies just shut stuff down because they don't know what might happen later,
Right.
and they don't know. They've never tried it. No one else has done it. And so these guys have just been, our administration's been really open to trying a lot of new things for the agency. So we've got a canine program. We've had a canine program. Now we've got a pretty strong canine program again because the administration saw the value and they were willing to take a leap of faith and go, all right, we got guys that are capable. Let's do it. So
Right. That's cool.
There's been stuff changing because the administration has been up for it, and motors for us has been one. So, and the bikes, we wouldn't have been able to go out and buy 2 brand new bikes. So the timing was perfect.
Yeah.
The price we got them from you guys was a good price. And we could buy them from you guys, trash them in motors, and still fix them up for like less than half of what we would have paid had we bought a brand new bike for the BMWs, not the Harleys. Now that's a different story. The Harleys are expensive, but yeah. So My riding partner, Wes, went to Motors here, and then I went to Spokane because I killed the clutch.
Yes, and I want to get into that. That's a good place to go. But before, to build on that a little bit, let's talk about the bikes and how you ended up with Honda STs at this juncture. You know what I mean? Because that's going to be a question that a lot of guys ask. So let's talk about that, Oscar. So at our department, my particular department, we ride exclusively. We actually have 6 guys in the unit, and then we have 2 spare bikes. We ride Harley Davidson only, and Harley Davidson Electroglides. Now, we did have and this isn't about, what make is best, for that. I will tell you, we love all motorcycles. All makes. We just are Hardy centric because that's what we ride around here mostly. Certainly doesn't mean we look down on anybody else. I have a lot of other people. In fact, a recent conference I went to, they were riding different makes, police officers, and I'm cool with that. Whatever. I'm proud that we ride Harley Davidsons. I think they're beautiful for what we do, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But Harley Davidson Electroglide, whether you like it or not out there, depending on your particular. Again, I'm not dogging any other make. This is just a fact. Harley Davidson Road Kings and Harley Davidson Electroglides are the number 1 used motorcycle for law enforcement in the United States. They have been for a god-awful amount of years. They continue to be the number 1 used police bike in the United States of America. There's reasons for that, and we'll talk about that a little bit. Doesn't mean the other bikes aren't great. And here in the Northwest, specifically, you see it's a very jaded view of my statement right there. Because if you ask people here in the Northwest, what bike, does law enforcement mostly ride, they may have a different view. The Northwest is very different that way. And so when you go to a conference, it's very skewed. But as you move east, farther and farther, it's, a lot. And it's not everywhere. I get it. There's pockets. I'm just telling you that there's no argument that Harley Davidson is absolutely the number 1 used police bike in the United States of America, and will continue for a long time that way. So we're going to talk about that because our unit, before I was on it, but I was training with them, so I did get time to spend on a metric, and I did train for a year when I was training with them on a Honda ST, which is the bikes you have now.
Yep.
It is an ST, right? Yeah.
Yes.
And so I have seen the difference, and I got to experience that, which is cool. But we tried them, our agency, and there was a guy in there that really wanted them, and he got his way for a little bit, and so we had for a very short time the Honda STs, and then we immediately went back to Harley Davidson. There's some reasons for that, guys. And again, I'm not trash talking any other bikes. I'm just telling you facts from what we found and our experience, which should amount to real life experience. It just is what it is. And Oscar's going to tell you the same thing. But we had these 2 spare bikes, Honda STs, at our agency, and they wanted to get their motorcycle program up and running over at his agency. And it's a big expense to get started.
Yes. Yeah. Yes,
it's a big expense. And so we made them an offer that they couldn't refuse, and that gets them up and running. It gets them off the ground. These 2 bikes are pretty heavily used. Yep. They needed some TLC. They needed some work. And we ended up making a financial deal. I wasn't involved in that. Administrators, and they picked up 2 Honda STs, our used Honda STs, with all the parts, extra tires, extra this, that. And we dropped them off and wiped our hands clean. And why don't you take it from there? Kind of, am I? Yeah. I mean, that's how you're getting your unit up and running.
Yeah,
basically.
Exactly. And it was an awesome price. I mean, given the tires and the replacement crash bars and stuff, I mean, it was a good price. There's no way we could have gotten into it any other way.
Right.
And looking back, used was the way to go. I mean, it's an expense up front, but now that I've been through motors class and have seen what the bikes go through, that was probably a good thing.
At a police motor school.
Yes, at a police motor school.
Right.
We dropped them. I went down hard 3 or 4 times, and then you drop them over and over and over. So it worked out really well, and we got up and running, and the administration stayed committed at that, I mean, because at any point they could have pulled the plug, and they didn't. And so the beauty is we still had enough money. We got everything cheap enough. Now that we have enough money, the county's going to go back through them and put new stuff. I don't know if they're going to put new stuff on them, but they're going to refurbish some stuff, which is good. And had we bought brand new BMWs or brand new Harleys, or even used a little bit older, maybe 2011 or 12 Harleys or something like that, it would have still cost more than what we're doing now.
Right.
So it's a great way to get started. We're going to keep them up running and keep them in good enough shape to keep them. So with the idea that we can pick up maybe a new bike next year, maybe the one the year after, and then pick up another person in the motors unit. Right. I think we probably have a handful of guys that would put in for it. And
wow.
So that's kind of
cool.
Yeah. And that allows us to keep the program going. Had we just bought one BMW or one used Harley, how much they cost, then we'd have one guy going through the program with no backup bike. And as we found out,
you have to have backup. You have to have spares.
Yes. You have to have a backup bike. That is totally critical. And so now looking back, how everything worked out, we should have sent one guy here and one guy like we did. We should have just done that up front. Because
you didn't know though. It was new.
It was totally new and we didn't know. My Wes's bike went down and he was able to come get mine and ride mine for half of the Yakima class. So then I took his and rode his for half of the class I went to in Spokane. So it couldn't have worked out any better.
Yeah. So and I want to get, as we dive into police motor school here a little bit more in a minute, your bikes right now, those Honda STs, you have, I haven't asked you, but you said they're basically your shops or whoever does that are basically tearing those things down to the frame. What are we looking at here? They're paint job.
I don't know.
Well, you don't have any say on trunks and what you're going to do?
So the short version is, both bikes needed new clutches. One of the bikes,
when we gave those STs to you, they needed new clutches. Is that what you're saying?
No,
one of them did. It was slipping.
Yes, yeah. So
we told you that.
Yep,
right?
We knew that. Yep. So we put a new clutch in that one, and then the other one was fine, except for. So when I was in class with that other one, the two bolts holding the clutch assembly, 2 of the 6. Backed out and broke off while the bike was running.
Oh my God.
And that was fortunately for me not a user error, because the other one I probably burned up a little.
Right. And we will talk about that. Yes.
That was awesome. So that one, I don't know what happened. I don't know if they weren't torqued down right or whatever, but so we got them back. We were going to obviously new clutches because the other one survived almost 2 full motor schools. And so when I got done with the newer one, that's the one I finished on, the clutch was still there. I mean, I was riding it, but it needed to be replaced anyway. And so then our shop said, hey, we'll do it, because we need, the crash bars, some of the crash bars were bent and scratched up, and we had the spares you guys gave us. So we're like, why don't we replace all this stuff now?
Right.
Someone's going to take the fairing and stuff apart to do the clutches. Might as well put new crash bars and stuff on. And all the lights worked in the sirens. So we're like, we'll get them up. Anyway, the shops decided, They got some input from us, but for the most part, the shops decided they were going to, aside from the motor and transmission, kind of really go through them. And the ball just started rolling. And we were specifically forbidden to go over and look at them.
Really?
We were going to get trunks, right? We went over to Centralia because...
Bigger trunks so you can fit your laptops in there and printers like we do, right?
They as far as I can tell, we had them fabbed here.
Wow.
Totally amazing. So not just the trunk, but that cowling piece that had the little box top where the electronics were?
Yeah, kind of the mini trunk, I call it.
They got rid of it, fabbed the new piece.
Wow.
Out of aluminum. Awesome. I saw some kind of pictures.
Why won't they let you go?
Because they want to unveil them. They do. The head guys
They're trying to surprise you.
Yeah, the guys like, you're not going to recognize these bikes. So they're painting them. We kind of gave them an idea of, our chief had an idea of what color, because they're going to, we have a certain color for the traffic cars. So they want them to match the traffic cars. We get to pick helmets.
Nice.
And so we got the Neotex.
The showy Neotex.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
modulars, they're great.
Yep. Good helmets.
As good as the Schuber C3. Those are kind of
right.
I ride Schuber C3 off duty right now, and I ride Shoei Neotech modular on duty. That's what they provide. Hold that thought real quick. Thank you, Average Joe, in the live YouTube chat. Super chat, $10. Says, I upgraded my night train exhaust air intake and handlebars using all your vids, but now it's not California legal. That's not surprising because California is like, I said it last night, you guys are going to be, and I love our California people, so this is just a joke, but you guys are going to be riding battery-powered Vespas in a year because motors are too dirty. They're dirty and they're evil down in California. Guess I am not so law-abiding biker, but I haven't seen anyone pull over for this. No, and that's a good point, Average Joe. We, anybody who's been around us a long time, when we say law-abiding biker, we talk about, a guy that speeds. Everybody speeds now and then, gets a speeding ticket or whatever. That's not law-abiding, or you have a little bit of illegal equipment. That when we talk about law-abiding biker, that's the 99%. That's the general bikers out there. Everybody gets daydreaming and speeding now and then, whatever. We're talking about the criminal element that are the not 99%ers. So you're definitely law-abiding regardless if you have a few illegal things going on there. Hell, you can't fart in California without getting arrested, I hear.
Oh, you need to have a spark arrestor, and you also need catalytic converter on your ass.
Right. Yeah, no doubt.
And we got a couple of questions. Jim Demetrius asked about Road King versus Electric Glide, and a good one I think we're going to get to here shortly. Z-Monster said, hey, what about gear? What kind of gear do we wear? So we'll get to some of that stuff, guys.
Yeah, good. So let me write that. Hey, Jim Demetrius, he's a patron, and haven't heard from him for a while, brother. I hope you're doing well, and thanks for being here. So remind me, gear, right?
Yeah. Gear, and Jim Big Z said, what gear? Oh, yeah, because we got to talk about the boots and the britches.
Oh, yeah.
The boots and the britches. And Jim wanted to know Road King versus Electric Glide, and I kind of answered him a little bit, but we should be able to probably get into that just shortly.
Very good. I'm writing those down, and please ask. We will get to those. That's why this is going to be a 2-part episode. I'm telling you that right now. Okay, and so good. Thanks for the super chat there. So,
yeah,
where were we on yours being painted and broke down and all that?
I don't really know what's going on. We
Average Joe just sent another $2, dude.
That's awesome.
Holy cow, man. That's cool. Why we do this right here. Guys, just supporting us.
It's awesome. I'm trying to stay up on the chat too. I get distracted sometimes.
That's all right. You can get back to it after you tell your little story.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I do it while you're talking. And
I don't really know what the bikes are going to...
But they're painting them.
They went all in. Yep.
They're painting the skins and all that kind of stuff.
So they're going to fix stuff, and they're on track to be done by Thursday. So we're going to have like a little mini unveiling on Thursday, and...
Because you got done with motor school about 3-4 weeks ago, and you haven't had the bike. So this is an exciting thing.
Yeah. Oh,
because you're trained, you're ready, and you don't have the bike. And
it kind of sucks because I want to get out there and ride. I want to get some seat time in.
Yeah, some experience. Right.
I've never ridden a metric bike, or I've never ridden a sport bike or a sport touring bike. And so we got them. I had a little time. I practiced with you the one day. I had maybe a couple hours on that bike before motor school, and it's like I just need some seat time, and my partner's just itching this worse than I am.
I bet he is.
So we just need to get I just want to get some time on it. We're going to set up a course in our at our office. And
you guys got the big huge parking lot. You guys are lucky, and I forgot about that. You can probably keep some stuff set up there, some cones and patterns.
We're going to do like you guys do and paint it. I'm going to use I think I'm going to go with Jonathan Holen's idea of the cut in half tennis ball.
Right.
Because it's easier to store.
Say that again.
So Jonathan Holen,
patron member, very involved with Law Abiding Biker Media.
Yeah, we went on a ride not too long ago, and he was asking me about courses and stuff. And he said, hey, I saw this on YouTube. Guy cut tennis balls in half instead of cones.
Right.
And I'm like, holy cow. So it's not perfect, but on the same token, it's a little less damaging, right? Because like the cones, you run over them and crap like that. Eventually you kill the cones off.
Right.
The tennis balls, they're there. You can see them. If you run over them, who cares?
Yeah, but that's not a realistic, because cones, you have to stand your bike up to get around them so you don't hit them with your saddlebag. Tennis balls, you can go over.
Well, right. This is true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But for simple practice.
It depends on what you're trying to do. Yeah.
Right. So we're going to start with something like that. And then if we can get a hold of the cones, I think that we'll set them out.
Right.
But the tennis ball thing, I can cut a bunch of them up, and I can hide them.
Right. I get what you're trying to do, at least.
We're going to try and start with the intersection.
Yes.
And probably a keyhole, and then go from there.
And we're leaving some stuff where you went to first motor school over in our parking lot. We're starting to leave. We're trying to leave 2 patterns up at a time, and we'll switch them every other week. So we just roll in there on duty.
Yeah.
When I get a free moment, I did the other day, bam, 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 knock it out, and then get back out on the street. So
nice.
And that'd be cool if we could get access. If you guys are going to leave some stuff set up, so we can run yours too. Stop by. You guys have a couple patterns set up us. You know what I mean? That'd be cool, because it is you're going to hear us talk when we get into that section of this podcast about what we do, and the level of riding that we do is a diminishing skill. And you absolutely, I don't care how long you've been riding, you have to stay on top, because it's everything. It's extremely dangerous what we do. It's extremely dangerous because now we're on a bike and we're in traffic and every day, and it's our lives. And so we really, anybody who is a police motors officer for any amount of time realizes the value of training and just how much you have to stay up. If you're not staying up on that, you're going to get hurt. And I know there are agencies that don't train that hard, and that's sad and not always the officer's fault, because you have everything to lose. You have to be ready. So your bikes, you're basically ready to have this unveiling. And okay, how are they going to do that? Are they going to?
I have no idea.
A big public event, or
I have
you
no
don't know?
idea.
You're just along for the ride.
We have been prohibited from even going over there.
Okay, that's awesome, dude. This is funny. I haven't talked to you.
We're just getting kind of updates. Hey, the bikes will, like the progress, and not what the progress is, just that there's progress,
right?
And like we learned that they ordered the helmets for us, and the bikes are gonna be down on the 1st, and we don't even know what time. We have no idea. So I'm looking forward to it, because they from what I hear, they've done a really good job,
right?
And they do. They have some. We have, apparently I didn't know this until them working on the bikes. We have some just gifted mechanics. And
that's great.
Gifted fabricators. We have guys that can do,
and they work for wow,
for us, and for the government. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't know that. And so when I first met these guys, they're awesome dudes, super laid back, easy going. The one guy was like, "Hey, these bikes need clutches. Have you guys done clutches?" He's like, "I've done clutches, but we'll figure it out." So I went the next day. This is before the whole thing. They had it all torn apart. Just like that. I'm like, wow.
They're not afraid to dig in.
Nope. And
that's the thing about them. They probably work on so many different types, so they just got to figure this shit out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And when something needs fixing, they fix it. They fabricate it. So I didn't know that. So kudos to those guys. We have some gifted people there, and they're doing it.
I'm going to save you a lot of money. Save your agency a lot of money, not farming that out, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
In-house.
Exactly. Right. In-house is the way to go. And so I wish I could name them by name, and because I'm very impressed with working with them. Although I haven't been able to do a whole bunch, I've just been hearing the progress. They've been very easy to work with. So that's not always the case.
That's freaking awesome. Hey, Bikeaholics, searching for new and exciting motorcycle products? Zero 3D has just what you're looking for. Check out their wide variety of innovative products for Harley-Davidson motorcycles. Zero 3D's got your back with chrome lighting and comfort products. No modifying, cutting, grinding, or welding for easy installation. That equals less time installing and more time riding, Oscar. That's what we like to do. Ride. Zero 3D has a design team with over 40 years experience with a passion for design and innovation. These guys are bikers and care about bikers just like you. They pride themselves on great customer service. Got a question? You get in touch with them via email, sales@zero3d.com, or give them a call, 715-808-0027. Zero 3D is distributed in the United States by Drag Specialties, in Europe by Parts Europe, and Zodiac, and in Asia by Twin Art. Check at your local Harley dealership and ask them for those Zero parts. Head over and check them out, lawabidingbiker.com/Zero. Tell them that the Law Abiding Biker crew sent you. Yes, we like them so much, we brought Zero products right to our very own store. You can get them. Big Daddy Kane has them ready in stock, ready to ship to you. lawabidingbiker.com/store. Buy your Zero stuff there. It helps support us. And we just want to thank Zero 3D for their continued sponsorship of this podcast and this platform, making it possible so we can keep serving the law-abiding biker community. Awesome. So let's talk about this, unless you have something in chat that you need to bring up.
Nope.
Okay. So before we get into motor school, so we got your bikes, you're running STs. We're going to talk about your future. I kind of want to keep this in a progressive, organized manner, because you see what I'm saying? We could go down this rat hole and then try to bring it back.
Yeah, we'd get lost forever.
Because we do want to talk about what your future plans are with motorcycles. Yeah. Let's talk about this subject since it came up. I think this is a good time, unless you tell me otherwise.
No.
And that is HD police bikes, Harley Davidson versus metric police bikes.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to give our opinions.
We'll probably do some punching.
We probably will. We're probably
Maybe a
going to
wrestling?
get where we may just strip down to our skivvies and have a wrestling match. But no, we are not that opinionated, guys. I've told you, please up front, me and Oscar, we support the entire law-abiding biker community. I don't care if you ride a BMW. I don't care if you ride, I don't care if you ride, a Honda. I don't care if you ride, we have somebody in there riding Big Dog. I don't care if you ride Harley. I don't care if you ride Indian. We ride guys with victories. I don't care. Your knees are in the breeze and you're part of the community. So I'm not actually that opinionated. Like I say, the reason we talk a Harley a lot around here is because we're Harley-centric. That's what we all ride. I can't afford to buy one of every bike, guys. We would need a lot more super chats.
Yeah. I like to feed my children also.
Yeah, I like to feed my children and pay the bills, but all I can tell you is factually, I made the statement and I'm going to tell you why that is and why that's happening, why Harley Davidson is still the number one, used police motorcycle in United States law enforcement. Now, was it Jim Demetrius asked Road King versus Electroglide?
Yes.
I can answer that question really quick. So it's kind of a toss-up, and they're both great for police work. You'll see a lot of Road Kings. At the recent conference I was at, there was a lot of Road Kings. There was a lot of Electroglides. There are agencies that use Road Glides too. They were Harley.
Really?
Yeah, I remember seeing a police version of a Road Glide. But Road King by far and Electroglides are what you're going to use now. Here's the deal. We're going to talk to you about just how we treat these bikes, guys. This, unless you've ever ridden in a police motorcycle, hardcore 2-week school, and you're doing the things with those bikes. I mean, we take these bikes, you got to understand, it gets up over 100 degrees here in the summers, well over 100 degrees. And we're treating these things and doing things that they weren't made necessarily to do. They'll do it, but Harley didn't test them that way. And we are getting these things so massively hot, and the brakes will actually give out completely. We've seen that. We're running these clutches, and we will talk about that a little bit more, but we're doing things that these bikes we're pushing them to the very limit of their mechanical capabilities. And because of that, it needs to be a tank of a bike. And whether you like it or not, whether you're a Harley guy or not, whatever, Harleys are a tank. These things have been proven time and time again. Yes, they're air-cooled. I ride it. I rode in 85, 90 degrees yesterday, and I trained hard for an hour and a half. That thing was so hot that I could feel the heat into the heel of my boot, and I had to stop touching the side. It smelled like, you know what I mean? It had the smell like you wouldn't believe. But these things, they handle it. Like we do things, you're like, this Harley cannot make it. Like, it's so hot out, and we're doing a parade escort, and I'm dragging the clutch in gray area for a 2-mile parade. It just keeps running. We can tell you guys that we put these things down all the time, especially when we're pushing ourselves in training. We slam them down. We do gray area. We burn clutches all the time in these things. They don't last, like clutch for you guys out there would last forever. Our clutches just depends on how we're riding, and more experienced riders use less clutch. You get better at it. Use less brake. We go through brakes like crazy. We go through clutches. You know what? The Harley Davidson, you can, with our videos, and a lot of police officers are using our videos.
Yeah.
On how to adjust the clutch. You can pop the side cover. You can give it a quick adjustment. Bam, the cable's right there. You can do we do it all the time on the courses when a clutch starts feeling bad. Bam, pull it up. We actually lean it up on a curb so it's straight. We'll grab a sidewalk. We'll lean the right crash bar up on the curb. We have our tools. Bam, we'll pop that side cover in less than a minute, and we know exactly 2 tools. We make a quick adjustment, close it up, make a quick cable adjustment. We're so fast at it, and you're back on the course. Actually, at our recent conference, I did it for a Canadian guy. He broke his clutch handle because he went down hard, and I actually replaced his clutch handle for him and gave him a quick clutch adjustment right there. They asked me to do it for him. Right. He was very thankful. Bought me a bottle of whiskey that night. I was like, you don't have to do that. But Harleys are made. Harley designed them for this kind of work. We need access to the parts. We need access to the clutches. We don't need to spend, $1,000, $2,000 to replace a clutch. We're going to talk about that with the Hondas. Some of these bikes, they didn't think about that. They built them and they run great and they ride great, but they didn't think about, what about these police officers need to change their clutches all the time? you have to remove everything and unmount the engine. That's a problem.
Yeah.
You know, where we can pretty much do our own clutches, even replace them if they'd allow me.
Yeah.
And Hardys just have access to that stuff. And like I say, they're air cooled and they're workhorses. All you have to do is put oil in them. And we're not talking about 80s models Harleys, okay? We're talking about the newer 2000 and on Hardys, guys. To be fair, you know, there was problems in the past, but these things are so solidly built and they go down and they get trashed and they get beat up. We start them. We don't let them warm up because we got a call. I come out of the station, bam, fired up, and in less than a split second, feeder on the floorboards. And now I'm doing, you know, 60, 70, 80 miles an hour, whatever, depending on what roads, you know, lights and sirens. We just treat them. I can't tell you guys any other than we treat our Harley Davidson like absolute shit, like how you should not treat a motorcycle. And they just keep running and they run and they run and they don't, you know, they don't have plastic. So when you drop them, they aren't breaking plastic panels. You know, you got the crash bars. As long as you have crash bars, you can drop them hundreds and hundreds of times. And they have been, and they just they're a workhorse. Yes, they're heavier. I agree. Yes, metric bikes go through the courses quicker. They're more nimble. But you have to have some good skill, you know, I think too, to ride the Harleys through some of those same things. There's just no way to go as fast through a course as a Honda or a BMW. They're just lighter, they're nimbler. So please, I'm just telling you why Harleys are used. It's not because they're the fastest. I'm not definitely denying that. It's not because they're the most nimble. It's because they've been proven time and time and time again. And dollar amounts matter to agencies. They are more expensive up front, but they handle it and they handle it well. Now, there are bikes that are on the heels. They want that market. BMW's one pushing hard, and they have made some modifications, BMW, to make it more police friendly with clutches. We'll talk about that. I'll let Oscar talk about that. Now, the Honda STs, Oscar, and jump in here. I know you're chatting a lot. Let me know if I'm missing anything. But the Hondas we had, the Honda STs, guys, they're a great bike. They're nimble. They were fun to ride. But they did not, and I think Oscar will attest to this because he took them through motor school. For us as an agency, they just, and I think a lot of improvements have been made over time, but they just didn't handle the abuse well. They were burning clutches pretty quick. They weren't as forgiving on that. With the Honda ST, you literally, the way I understand it, Oscar, you have to actually, it's a huge day, 10-hour, 8-hour job. They have to pull all the skins. They have to actually unmount the engine. They have to move the engine back to get to the clutch or something.
No,
nothing like that. Okay, that's just what I heard.
I mean, it's a big job. The front end's got to come apart. They got to take the forks, like the front of the bike off.
That's what it was.
Has to come off, and then after that, you know, some of the skins come off. But after that, the clutch is right there.
Okay,
it's just that unbolting the triple clamp and getting the front forks and the front wheel and stuff off, and then getting the side covers off so that you have full access to it. You got to take the radiator off and drain.
See,
every clutch needs a oil change and new radiator fluid. That is totally ridiculous.
Right.
So what I heard about police bikes.
So it's an expensive gig to get that done in a shop.
Yeah, it's $400, $500 in labor, plus the clutch isn't too bad. I mean, I think the clutch was a couple $100. But
and a Harley, you can have a new clutch in and be on the road in 2 hours.
I can do it in my garage.
Right.
It's not that big of a deal. So
that's a big deal. Right.
So the biggest thing, G-Dub, I'm not, you know what, G-Dub, I'm not even going to respond to that because we don't spend all day, at least half day in the coffee shop. He's making a funny comment.
Sorry. Tell me, I was looking at chat.
That's what he said. He said, "Oh,
who
come
said
on,
this?
G-Dub. We all know that motors like to spend all day at the shop and let the car units handle their calls."
That's funny, dude. Yeah.
The best way I heard it phrased about the BMW and the Harley is that they are purpose built.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And the other bikes, there's guys riding Cowies.
There was Cowies.
The Concourse.
Yes.
Guys are riding the Yamaha FJRs.
I think Kawasaki, though, we were talking about that. They're dying as far as police bikes. They
don't make a police bike.
I know. That's the problem. You have to retrofit everything.
And that was the biggest thing about why, I talked to a guy from an agency here in the state that said they're going to probably the BMWs because their BMW builds a bike for it's a police bike. It comes from the factory ready to go. And Harley does the same thing. So the BMW and the Harley techs can do the lighting and stuff if they want. I mean, they can work on all of that. Where we don't have to farm it out and have several different vendors. Having our own agency work on the bikes is a huge step because we don't have to go motor stuff here, tire over here, radio stuff over here, and then lights and stuff over here. We can have everyone do the same thing. But the Hondas, the Cowies, the Yamahas, they really didn't come, or they really don't come.
Keep going.
From the factory.
I'll monitor chat for you for a second.
Okay, so they don't come necessarily from the factory that way. So you and I've kicked around this Harley versus the BMW. It's kind of ironic because I like having both. I love my Harley. I rode my Harley here today, but it was kind of neat to get on the Honda and have something different.
Right.
I think that makes me a better rider, riding two different styles of bikes, and they are totally different.
Yes, they are totally different.
My Harley's a cable clutch. The Honda's hydraulic.
And the new Harleys are cable or hydraulic now too.
Right.
We have several of those. We're phasing out some of our 13s and getting the 17s.
Right.
Yeah.
But one of the biggest things, so I've been practicing because, my Honda's been in the shop. I've been practicing on my Harley. And I hate to say it's easier because I've been so many miles on my Harley.
Right.
But the Harley has so much low end that gray area is different.
Yes.
The Honda doesn't have as much low end. So that was part of the reason I probably end up killing that clutch is because you have to rev it higher.
Yeah.
And they were on us all the time at Motors, up the power, up the power, up the power, up the power, because if you you can't idle the Hondas through. Now the Harleys,
you can play with the throttle. You hear me going through and I'll actually be playing with the throttle in the gray area where Honda, you see our metric bike and they go,
the throttle response on
just,
that Honda is ridiculous. You go from 1,000 to 5,000 RPMs and just a touch of the throttle. The Harley, you really have to manipulate the throttle.
Yes.
Which in a lot of instances makes the slow speed stuff, I think, a little bit easier. Now, maybe it's not as nimble, but the throttle is easier to manipulate. So there's a trade-off there. I mean, in the top end on the Honda, for us out, on the at highway speeds, the top end of the metric bikes may be an advantage to a degree. And you and I we already argued about that a little bit.
Right.
But there are advantages and disadvantages to both.
Right.
Now, I can't talk about the Cowies, Hondas, or the Yamahas. I know the Cowies because we had a guy burn a clutch up on the FGR. I think it was an FGR. It was either the FGR or it was FGR. And a clutch on that is super easy. Dang near do it in the parking lot.
Wow, cool.
And I don't know about the concourse because I think some of our instructors are riding the Cowies.
Wow. You just don't see a lot of them anymore.
You don't.
Around here just because like we say that they don't have a package, but it's cool to see them.
Right. I think they're fine too. So it was really the Hondas were Honda made for the civilian market and then said, hey, let's make these a police bike.
Right. And they didn't think that through.
Not for the years that we have and for the years that you guys bought them and then sold. You know what I mean? Like the older, they're 07 and 09. They didn't really think that through. So I am totally with you on the Harley maintenance.
Did I make... I didn't trash one or the other. I think they're both great bikes. I just was trying to say why maybe that most police agencies still use them. The other thing I didn't mention is real quick, Oscar, and I don't want to take your thunder. Please stay. This is a good conversation. The other thing I want to tell you guys is the other reason Harley Davidson is so popular amongst law enforcement agencies is because the way it looks. A motor's position in law enforcement is a hugely publicized PR machine, and you guys see it on the news. You see the parades, the presidential escorts, the funeral escorts, and all that kind of stuff. I'm telling you that there is nothing prettier. I'm sorry, the BMWs are what they are. They have plastic all around them. They all look, and they do. And I'm not saying they're a bad bike, guys. So please, it's just blah. It's blah. And when you see the PR machine and the shiny chrome and the polished black and white motorcycle, what everybody thinks of when they think of police, motorcycle officer in the United States, they are a PR machine.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that's why you should get them. I'm telling you that's another reason that law enforcement heavily uses them, because our boots are polished. We've got the breeches. We've got the special uniforms. We're really pride ourselves in looking very sharp, very militaristic. And now you have a bike with pop and chrome and all the other stuff that Harley Davidson says to somebody, they're just beautiful, beautiful machines. And so there are a lot of law enforcement agencies that keep them because of the PR power that a Harley Davidson has. So that would be another facet to why.
And that's a big deal. I didn't understand when I got into this whole thing because I've had Hondas and I've got Harleys.
You did. You come from a metric background.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
And so when I got into this, I never realized the storied traditions of motors. And Harley fits, along with the big boots and the breeches, fits into the image.
Yep.
Which is a very strong part of being a motors cop.
Yeah, it is.
And I didn't know that. I just okay, we're writing tickets. I can put this bike in that freaking little orchard right there behind that bush, and I can shoot my LiDAR through the bushes, and I can ride 1,000 tickets. And it's going to be way funner that I get to ride all day. I didn't realize the other side of the whole thing.
The PR machine.
And the cone course is part of that. Being able to maneuver your bike in slow speeds and do all kinds of cool stuff. People love to see that.
Yes, they do.
And they love to see the Harley. So I get that. And how I know that's true is because you're not the only one to tell me that. I hear certain phrases that are almost identical across motors cops that I've talked about.
Really?
Or talked to. Like, hey, what? Like with the boots. And so I know it's
the typical standard police motor boots.
Yeah.
Right? They're knee high. Uh-huh.
It's part tradition. So
yeah, it is.
I get that. So here's what one of our instructors told us about. So
one of your motors school instructors.
Motor schools instructors. So
that's great stuff.
Everyone I'm talking to, every motors cop I can get my hands on, I talk to about what do they do with the program, how do they run their hours, all this stuff. So I'm asking him, hey, what do you guys wear? Do you guys wear the boots?
Right.
And he says, well, yeah, okay. He goes, yeah, a lot. There's some old guys that like the boots and stuff, but the first time that one of the young guys got off his bike and got into a foot chase, the boots went out the window.
Oh yeah, right.
So now they're approaching it from a more practical side.
He actually chased somebody on foot. He must be a young guy.
Yeah, it was a young guy. He said, and now we've got these young guys chasing people on foot. You know, young motor officers chasing people on foot, and the tradition. So things are changing,
right?
And at least for that agency,
right?
They went more practical.
Yeah, I do see that, and I'm not saying that's wrong or right. It's a good discussion.
It just is.
It is.
Yeah, because there's no way around it.
Yeah, and I do want to talk more uniform here, Oscar. I'm making a note. That's very important. We kind of got off, and that's fine. Somebody asked in the chat room, the live YouTube chat room, who was it? Do you have to cover, Eric Showers, Ryan, do you have to cover your tats at work? Nope, I don't.
Hey, Greg says you wear tan colored yoga pants.
I do, yeah.
Pants at work.
Oh, did he see me? Yeah, he must have saw me on a video. So here's the deal, guys. No, I don't. I actually have worked years with my tats. I don't have to cover them. I can wear short sleeve shirts. But on a motorcycle, I actually wear skin colored sleeves, not because I have to cover them, because I'm out in the sun and I'm very fair skinned and I'm out in the sun every day, all day. I'm not in the cage, protected by my cage.
That's such a consideration.
And my skin has, my family has skin cancer that runs in it. So I can only put so much sunblock on. So I sunblock my face, but my helmet gives me a lot of protection. And I just prefer, instead of putting sunblock on my arms and trying to keep up with that all day, I have moved to wearing skin-colored sleeves during the day with my short sleeve shirt, just purely for skin protection.
You are freaking pasty.
But there are times if I'm just going,
white,
I am
like the driven snow.
I am, dude.
Pure.
And I burn, and then I burn again, and then I peel, and I burn again. Now, there are days where I'm going in just to work in the office to do investigations all day, follow-ups, and I won't put the sleeves on. But if I'm going to be out doing traffic all day, I do, to protect my skin. Those are things to take into account.
That is something, I put a lot of miles on my Harley, something I didn't consider.
That guy says, Ryan, do you need SPF 10? I think it's 1,000,000. I can't see what he's doing.
Yeah, it looks like it.
They don't make sunblock.
They don't,
Not even the strongest of the strongest to keep a guy like me. I can get away with it for a little while, but even when we go on our motorcycles trips to Canada like this year, I'll wear a nice moisture wicking long sleeve shirt under my short sleeve shirt just because I got to have the sleeves on. I just can't do it, man. I don't want to get skin cancer, Oscar.
I've already had it. It's not that bad, dude.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
It's really no big deal.
Oh my God, people have got serious. Yeah, I know, dude.
I did. I had a whole chunk taken out of my face.
I've had spots taken off. I don't mess around with them, dude. I get right to the doctor and get those off.
It grows back.
Right.
It's fine. It's fine.
Hey, so here, Oscar, and then we're going to wind this down and go to part 2.
Oh yeah,
here in a minute. We're doing good, and I love the question. Sleeves are a great tip. Thanks. Yeah, Eric Showers, you're welcome.
Did you? I don't always listen. Did you cover Road King versus Electroglide? It's just preference, basically.
I did. I actually said it, and then I got off on a tangent. So thanks for bringing me back to it.
That is kind of that's a good question.
I think I said that you'll see both of them, and they're both great bikes. They're really the same bike in one.
Just the fairing. That's the biggest difference.
That's the only thing. The Road King, you'll see the police models just have the nice big windshield and the handlebars. I prefer the Electroglide with the fairing. The reason is it allows us to mount equipment more easily, like our radios that we have to put into the dash. We don't have AM, FM, we don't have boombox systems. They pull the boombox and they put our police radios and all that kind of stuff. And so, and it gives you a little more protection in the cold weather. We have heated grips, and we do ride here we started March 1st, and I was riding during the days when it was barely freezing all day. Mm-hmm. And so in our environment, then it gets up to 100 plus degrees. We have extremes both ways in this area of Eastern Washington State. And, so I like the heated grips. I like the protection of the fairing. But the Road Kings are heavily used in great bikes. And I wouldn't cry if I had to ride one of those either and get paid to ride that. So, but I do prefer having the fairing, just like I say, equipment purposes and things like that, and some hand protection with our heated grips and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully that answered the Electra Glide Road King thing. And like
we
I say,
haven't gone to the equipment yet.
No, we're going to, and I kept that. I do want to get heavily into the equipment, but that's probably going to come, I think, Oscar, after we talk about in depth your experience, and then I'll chime in about motor school, and all that kind of stuff. Well, I guess we can do it here if you want, but it might be a good time. It might be a good time. What other any other questions? I'm thinking that we should maybe take this one out and then
Z
start
wants to
part
know
2.
if we use a car in the off season. And Z, I use a car in the off season. Our host here, actually, because of he's kind of fragile, he actually has to hang it up for the winter. He hibernates. And then he has a what are those things called? Segway that he rides around the mall.
He put me on a Segway. I'm
does
like
walking
Paul Blart.
enforcement at the mall.
Mall cop, dude. Paul Blart. Straight up. It's not security guard, it's security officer.
We both use cars in the off season because we get a crap load of snow. But that's an interesting thing, because I was talking to a guy from another agency on the west side. Some of those guys don't. They ride all
they can.
year.
And we would here. They
Right.
won't let us because of the ice and snow on the roads.
We could get
We were
sidecars.
socked in, yeah.
I want to get a sidecar.
Sidecar, yeah, then
a
we
Honda
could.
sidecar.
So we don't like to put them away, and it is a bad day when we have to put them away. And we got them out March 1st as soon as we could. We had a hell of a winter. In the winter, we had snow and ice on the roads for weeks and weeks and weeks. And so there's just no safe way to do that without a sidecar.
Oh,
so,
turbocharged Segway.
We'll
build you a turbo one. That'll
nice,
be good.
Dude. I like it. I would too. I would ride a Segway, dude. I'm looking for any sweet gig at this point in my career, dude. Any sweet gig, I'm good with that.
So in the end,
yeah, let's talk about say what you're going to say, and then I think I know how we can take this part 1 out.
well,
Go.
so Harley metric versus Harley. It's not really it's what it comes down to for us. I know if we end up going to the BMW is brand new, is significantly cheaper.
That's what I was going to say anyway. So good. So the BMW package versus the Harley package is like 12,000 cheaper, or is it more than that?
A little bit more than that.
And so
I'm going with what your Sarge told me about what they would potentially pay for a brand new Harley.
Right.
In the low 40s.
Okay.
And
that's fully equipped, guys.
Fully equipped. Yeah.
Lights,
Radios,
siren, radios, trunks, everything. Yeah.
And Ural.
A Ural, yeah, with the sidecar Z Monster.
It sounds like the Bimmer will probably come in. And I talked to.
But what you didn't say what the Beamers come in. You said 40, low 40s.
Yep. I was getting there.
Oh, okay.
You know what? You
right.
need less coffee just for a minute.
I'm starting to get jacked up.
One of our instructors at Motors actually ordered a brand new Bimmer, and I think he said, and he picked like a couple $1,000s in options to add on from the factory, and I think he said it was 28 or 29. So that's like
right.
42 versus 29 for us at this point.
So 12, 13,000.
Yeah, 13,000.
Fully equipped, ready to go.
Equipped, as far as I can tell, ready to go.
Yep.
Both bags.
BMW is, man, they are on the coattails. I mean, they're chomping at the heels of Harley. And they're doing a good job. I'm just telling you. I talked to the salesman at our recent conference. BMW is making a huge stab at getting part of this market that's heavily Harley based.
And they have some technology like stability control, which is typically for cars, that Harley doesn't do. Harley doesn't do any of that stuff.
Right.
Speed sensitive or electronically controlled shock damping. And apparently BMW is going or has now on the 817s or 18s auto shift. So if you don't want a clutch,
I don't know how much of this I like this auto BMW stuff.
But you know what? That's
especially
not new.
for our position though.
2010 Honda VFR 1200.
Right.
No clutch.
Why for a police off bike though? I don't know, dude.
Yeah, well, right. It's
some of that stuff is great
for
for public, but you
think about it.
I shift without my clutch all the time on my Harley as a police
upshift.
officer.
Yes, right.
I upshift and downshift.
Yeah.
We learn how to do it.
You can do it.
We do it all the time.
Downshifting.
I know.
It's not good.
You have to get better at it.
You do.
Yes. But we upshift when we're taking off after cars all the time. I never use my clutch at a speed. You just get used to doing it and you get it right in. Right. A lot of people don't know that.
So you're making a great case for BMW's technology. And then
if we're doing it anyways, you're right. That part of it.
And what BMW's doing is saying, because when you upshift without clutching, there's some extra wear on the gears. Let's face it, there's no way around it.
Right.
The gears are slamming together harder, and
Correct.
that'll wear more. Apparently, from what I've heard, BMW's technology is allowing the computer to control some clutch enough so that the gears don't slam together as hard as they do in the Harley.
Okay.
But then they keep the clutch, the gray area, for the slow speed stuff.
You're
Versus
saying
the VFR.
shifting with the clutch is harder on the gears.
No. If you have a clutch, if
Right.
your bike has a clutch and you upshift without using the clutch,
Right.
it's harder on the gears.
Right. Correct.
Because
Especially
you're not-
if you don't know how to get your RPMs just right. You know,
Yes,
once you
right.
get good, it's pretty smooth, but
It can be. I
Yes.
do it on my Harley on
Right.
occasion.
but yes, I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the VFR doesn't have a clutch at all. I'm not a fan of that because then there's no gray area.
Right.
So you can't do this.
That's the problem.
slow speed stuff.
we would be screwed. Yes.
Right. So BMW's coming out with some technology that Harley has never delved into. And I just blame that on Harley being Harley. And that's okay. Mm-hmm. It's okay. We don't, electronic stability control. Apparently there's some stuff about braking. So I don't know, but I know you're right.
No, they are. They're hot to trot.
They are right on.
And here in the
there.
Northwest, they're making a huge run because that conference was loaded with Beamers.
Yes, it is. And so, except for, get a huge motorcycle, huge automobile company. Did you see their trunk? Hey, German guys.
Right.
They made an upside down trunk.
Oh,
So, on a trunk,
did I see the BMW trunks?
Yeah.
I didn't look closely.
So, you know how a Harley is a box with a top?
Right.
BMW is a box with a bottom.
Oh.
A flat bottom. The box lifts up.
I got you. I did never looked close.
Why would you do that? That's one of the first things we look at. I'm like, why would you
That's dumb.
make it upside down? And the
Because we
guy's
need
like,
to hold stuff in it.
You
take the box off and now all your shit spills all over
you
because the
can't-
bike's on its kickstand.
you can't put anything in it.
That's
it's
dumb.
totally flat when it lifts up. So I asked the guy, why would BMW do that?
That's dumb.
Like they have it, smart engineers. Come on.
Right.
And he goes, oh, well, because it's meant to have mount stuff. So you put the radios and stuff up in the lid, and then you have, so then they have this flat plate. And he goes, well, we're working out a solution to this so we can still have a trunk. But he goes, you make a mounting bracket, and then you can mount your laptops and printers and stuff to it. And I go, that's fine. But if
right.
it comes loose and you're on the kickstand, you open the trunk, everything falls off. I'm like,
Correct.
that was a kind of a cool sound effect.
That was Oscar. Straight up.
So cool bike, all kinds of cool stuff. Wow. I mean, did they really bonehead that? There has to be some reason. There has to be some user specific input that led them to doing that. But
Right.
that was dumb. That was the dumbest thing I've seen.
That might be something in other countries that was pushed hard and they think it's going to work here.
I
you know?
guess. And the guy knew, the BMW rep knew when I looked at him because he was starting to answer the question I hadn't asked yet. As soon as he lifted the trunk, I looked at him and he must have seen my face and went, okay.
I
I've
bet
been
next
asking
year's
this.
model, they'll change that.
And he said they were working on something different. So,
Yeah. They're learning still. They're new to well, not completely new to the game,
No,
but
they've been around a while.
They've been around a while, but it seems like in the past they have made police bikes, but to me and talking to the dealer, he was a friendly guy there at the thing.
Yep.
He definitely, you can tell trying to make a run. BMW's doing a better job
Yep.
at making it police ready. Now that was funny. Because I was busting his balls and one of my commanders was over talking to the BMW dealer and we were making jokes and then he came over because I do love the Harleys for the look and the public image and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And he comes over and he's busting my balls about, oh yeah, I just talked to the BMW guys. I think it's going to be a really good change for us. And he's just looking at me like wink, wink. And I just started laughing and I go, don't even do that. I was already telling the guys, get the commander away from the BMW guy. We're not switching. We have enough, just because of us, because we have commanders that have been in the motors unit and now they're commanders. It really is a PR public image thing for us. And they have worked well for us, And once you're in them, we're in them.
Yeah.
And so now we just change them out, so
why would you switch?
We're not going anywhere with them, but it'll be interesting to see. And it does sound, and then we're going to close this out and do part 2. It does heavily sound like you guys, and I know because I know who is in charge and what they ride, and that heavily influences, and I'm okay. You know what? At the end of the day, people ask me, what would happen if for whatever reason they decided that they weren't doing Harleys in your agency anymore and they made you ride a BMW? I'd still ride it because I'm getting paid to ride a motorcycle is my answer.
Yeah,
right. I'm not paying for the bike. I'm not paying for the gas. And as long as I get to ride and train and be a motors officer, you know what? I'll ride the Segway, the supercharged Segway, if that's what they want me to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And in all fairness to our admin, even though both of them are BMW riders, they were both very open to Harleys as well. They had asked.
They were,
and
because we have two used ones we were going to sell you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of speaking, this is on my own position, because I have not actually, no one has made a decision about what we're going to do, but we could go that route. So I'm not entirely sure. They've been open and they want to do what's best for the agency and they want to keep the program going. So cost may be an issue, because once you're in that bike, you're in it. So if we go the Harley route, we're in the Harley route. So if the cost down the road gets a little bit more expensive.
Right.
If we can work on them ourselves, which we can, that was one of the benefits I told them. Hey, I can work on these bikes, the basic.
We can do all the main. We're just not going to rebuild the motor, but we'll do everything else just because we don't have the facility. And
exactly. So all I know is that our administration's been very open and they want to make the right decision. There's some that are brand loyal, but I don't see that coming in. I see it a little bit, but not really. I think they really want to have this program and they want to do what's best for the agency. So I'm cool with whatever they pick.
Right. Yeah. And that's
There's advantages and disadvantages to both.
Exactly. And I agree with your point, or your experience. And I did get to ride the Hondas and train on them, and I got to go through the courses. I can do it on both bikes, which is cool because I have that background. You know what I mean? Right. A lot of guys ride the same thing the entire time. And like you said, it's kind of cool because you get to ride two different things, one at work and then you're Harley off duty. That's kind of because I ride Harley all day, then I come home and sometimes I take my daughter on another Harley ride.
Yeah, right.
But that's cool too, whatever. But I get that part of it, Oscar. Now, let's clean up live chat, make sure there's nothing pending in there, and then we're going to close this out, guys, and then we're going to come back and with part two of this Police Motors. I guess it's more. Now, we didn't know where we were going to go with it. It's more than just Police Motor School. It's all about that. We're actually leading up to talking about what is involved in Police Motor School. But these are all important questions. We do need to touch on gear, which we'll pick up in the next episode. We'll start with gear.
Yep.
Now, we are, let's see, I posted selfie. I posted, Z-Monster, I posted a selfie on Facebook group. You never said I was your type or not. Oh, look, Z-Monster. We were joking around last night. He's heavily involved. He was in the chat. He was saying some funny stuff last night. So
let me answer one quick question.
He asked if he'd do ride-alongs. That's right. And I told him. I told him he would have to do the straddle.
Yeah, that's fine.
What do you call that? The crisscross? Or they,
I don't know what you call it.
Because I don't have a back seat. Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it.
That's what he's saying. He posted a selfie. I'll see you, dude. If
hold
my
on.
type. Yeah, go ahead.
Mark Arnold wants to know EITMS. Do you? So I haven't done it yet. So do you hit you do not? You would not hit the EITMS except for maybe parade stuff.
Right. So here's the deal. That is an awesome question. See the rabbit hole we can go down, but this is what live chat is for. So EITMS, guys, engine idle temperature management system. We have a video on it on how to set it. You can turn it on or off. Now, I will tell you, I wanted the answer to this question, and I hear a lot of guys that are not familiar with it. And I hear guys, in fact, our Cali group recently, which is fine, great guys, but one of them was asking about, I don't like it or this. Okay, it doesn't. If you're thinking about it, then you're thinking about it too much. Okay, I explain what EITMS, it shuts off your back jug and turns it into an air pump to cool the motor.
Right.
But as soon as you give it any type of throttle, it goes activated. So I have been on our course, Oscar. I ran the course with EITMS on and EITMS off, and it makes not a damn bit of difference.
It doesn't.
Because as soon as you throttle up, give it any throttle to go into your pattern, it's not activated. Right. The only time EITMS is activated is when you're stopped and you're sitting in an intersection and then the motor gets hot, and then you'll feel it, and you'll feel the cadence of the bike change. Even if it does that at an intersection in the summer, what do all Harley riders do, or motorcycle riders?
Rev the motor.
We see the green light. We give it a couple jerks of the throttle, boom, and it's kicked out and you're on your way. Now, if you're sitting at a light for a couple minutes and EITMS is kicking and you feel the bike of the cadence, and then you just try to go, it's going to lug just a little bit till it kicks out. But so just give it a little twist of the throttle in preparation. I do that anyways. So honestly, guys, doesn't matter.
Practically, Mark, it doesn't kick in. The only time
all it can do is help cool your motor a little bit,
and it's not really going to kick in except maybe in like a parade escort or something where you're.
Mine's kicking on daily right now though, out on the street, just normal street riding.
Oh, stop! Because it's
every
hot all
time
the time.
It kicks on. Yep,
but not in the courses and stuff where you're constantly moving.
It's never
doesn't kick on. Right?
Correct.
Yeah, so it's not. So functionally, it's not a. It's there, but it doesn't kick on.
Where it will kick on is when you're getting ready to start the course,
right?
And you're waiting in line. Yes. But like I said, just rock the throttle for like 1 second and it's
And it'll
kicked
go.
out now. And now you're on the course and you're never going to get below idle to where it's going to kick on.
Yeah.
So, some people that's a great question, but
It really was.
and he's not overanalyzing. I'm not saying him, but I've had some other people overanalyzing. It's not that big a deal. In fact, I could turn it on and off and some guys would not even know whether it's on or off.
Do you guys turn it on? You guys you don't, no one cares.
Each guy just does whatever they want. I
Yeah,
think some of the guys don't even know. I've told them,
Yeah.
hey, is your EITMS on? And they've learned about it. So I think some just, like I said, that's how much you don't notice it when you're riding a course.
So it's practice. Is there agencies maybe that have some kind of weird policy about keeping it on or off? Maybe,
Right.
but I don't think anyone really cares.
Our agency doesn't care. The Harley motor's made to run with or without it. But I do keep mine on just because I feel, if I can get a little cooler in the summer, the motor, and help it out a little bit. But definitely some of the guys I know, because I've checked their bikes, they aren't running it on, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I don't even think they know.
More cool questions. Steve Price asked about maintenance, but we're not going to get to that right now.
What's the question? I'll pump it for the next episode.
Steve, I'm assuming you're talking about the motors units. How often do you guys change the oil and what type of oil do you use?
Yep.
But maintenance is cool, but we'll get into that.
Okay.
I think. I don't know if we'll get to that now.
Let me do maintenance. I'm putting it down. Oil changes.
Is it already Monday? Have we been in here for like 18 hours?
Oh my God, dude. It feels like it.
It's
doesn't it?
awesome. What an awesome topic.
Isn't
And
it though?
The chat is just awesome. Like it's so many good questions and stuff coming up. I think we got Mark fully answered.
So we got two choices here, Oscar.
Oh yeah.
I always do, guys. You're the live audience. We usually do one live, and then like last night we did one not live because it's a lot to ask you guys to be in the chat for two and a half hours.
Yeah, right.
But I know some guys would like us to go longer, and I always pull surprises, so I don't know. I'll ask you guys, and just give me your honest opinion. This is a Memorial Day weekend, you guys might have better stuff to do. We're either going to go off the air, and me and Oscar are going to finish up, and you have input on this too, and we're going to finish up, but we're going to have to do our outro, and then you guys are going to have to watch us do another intro into part 2 of 2, and we'll continue this subject. Or if it sounds like everybody's bugging out of the chat room, I'm cool with that too. If you guys got to go and bug out of the chat room, we'll just shut it down and we'll do the second episode. Will come out later in podcast format. I'll wait for a few comments and see what the consensus is. What do you think, Oscar?
I think that he's been
Eric
talking
Shower
about
says I'll hang out and drink whiskey. That's my kind of guy.
Z wants the reverse cowgirl, and I'm not talking about you. I don't know if he says you and him or me and you. Right? I think he's talking about you and him when he does a ride along.
The reverse cowgirl, is that what it's called, dude?
Yeah, I guess.
I'm afraid to look at his picture now, dude.
Flowing locks.
He's probably some huge guy, like with just freaking monster arms and stuff. just crush me, dude. Just ride cowgirl and just crush me, man.
Chris Lezak says stay live.
All right.
Z says stay live.
All right.
Eric, we got two Erics. One says he's hanging out. The other says he's got to go. Some guys have been coming and going. Some guys already left. And
all right. Well, what do you think? Should we just stay on live?
as long as I can go down to use. I got to pee.
Yep. So what we're gonna do, guys? We got to take it out first.
Oh.
Let's take it out.
I don't ever pay attention
And then
anyway.
we'll leave everything running, guys, and just give us a 5-minute intermission. We'll play some music, but let us take this episode out. Stay live, Russell Roberts.
He's in OMAC.
Russell Roberts, the reason you guys are seeing this high quality video feed is he bought equipment. I mentioned it last night because he wanted he always said our audio was good, but he cares about the community and he's been in the studio and he knew the equipment I had. Anyways, he bought some stuff and mailed it to me without me asking. So that's why we're now up with this higher quality video feed. So
it must be the buildings he's selling down here that he can get that.
You said he's an OMAC?
Yeah, he says he's an OMAC.
He's a long hauler, guys, and he's an awesome guy. You all pretty much know him if you've been involved in the community. He's been on some vlogs and some videos. And anyways, guys, that's right. That was part 1 of everything you need to know about Police Motors Unit and Police Motors School. Of course, we're not done. That's right. That was only part 1 of 2. And
that was numero uno.
Numero uno. And we will get to part 2. Here you go, guys. I'm telling you, don't ride without the slide. If you guys wonder, I'm not kidding. I did a vlog about it the other night. Bug slide, guys. It is absolutely not only my personal #1 go-to motorcycle waterless cleaner. I seriously have a bottle of it. That's all I use on my police motorcycle, my Electroglide, before parades, before escorts, to keep it looking sharp, that public image. I use it on my police motorcycle helmet. I use it on the shield. I use it on the inside of the shield. I use it on the tinted drop-down visor. I absolutely have zero other cleaners in my police motorcycle or on my personal bike. I don't need it. Okay. Now, when I'm not using the waterless cleaner Bug Slide, which puts the nice protective coat, it makes stuff come off easier. It shines the chrome, the plastic, the paint, all that kind of stuff. That's why it's the only thing I need. We sell it in our store. It comes with a microfiber cloth. They are better quality microfiber cloths because I have many, and I do like our Bug Slide ones. Now, for wet washes, I use our Bike Bright product, guys. When I'm actually going to wet wash my police motorcycle or I'm going to wet wash my personal bikes, then I go to our Bike Bright line of products. And you spray that stuff on, let it sit, the grease, the oil, the debris from the bugs that just melt right off, guys, really. We have those products available, lawabidingbiker.com/store. It helps support us if you purchase directly from us. Big Daddy Kane has a shitload of it in stock, let me tell you. And we've been selling an ass load this weekend. I did a vlog, and a lot of guys liked the vlog, and they started ordering up Bug Slide. But I'm telling you guys, I'm not kidding. You can ask Oscar. I don't carry anything else in my police bike, guys. And
I use it exclusively.
Use it on your helmet. Use it on your shield. Take it when you travel, guys. You just absolutely need nothing else than Bug Slide.
It has other uses, but I don't want to get too explicit.
That's probably in episode 2.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and make sure you stay tuned for part 2 of 2. Oscar, you're the man for being here. We do have to take a quick break.